Hi guys, it's Amber and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, hi, hello, welcome. Today we have a super exciting video. We are going to be covering the updates that came with the most recent patch for The Sims 4, and the big thing for this patch was they did add an additional 6 new hair swatches, as well as of course the likes and dislikes system. So I figured we would start with the hairs and the new swatch colors. So I have Wanda rocking the new black that came with this update. So the idea of this black is for it to be less blue toned, and I do think that it is. However, I think that it kind of can come across a little bit blue. So this is the old black. So looking here, you can see a lot of like those blue undertones. And this is the new black. It's definitely got less blue in it, but it almost looks gray. I also have her in a couple different hairs just so you can kind of see a little bit of variation in what the colors look like in different hairs, because I do feel like it's not consistent. I also wanted to include one of the like ombre hairs. So this is one of the island living hairs that comes with like kind of an ombre and extra colors added in it. So it's a little bit different from the old black, but it's pretty similar. They essentially just brightened up the whole thing. And that's a pretty similar pattern to all the island living hairs. The colors are basically the same, just some slight variation. All right, so going through all of the new hair swatches, we have the new black. This is the new darker brown, or new like dark brown, which compared to this one, it's just less reddy. Then this is like a new lighter, kind of more of like a mousy brown, a new goldenish blonde hair color, as well as a new lighter blonde. And then just compared to the previous lighter blonde, this one's a little bit, ooh, I'd say a little bit more neutral. And then the last new hair swatch is this like warm white color. So that is all 6 of the new swatches. I think the black is, I don't know if I want to say it's my favorite, just because I do wish that it was darker, but it is probably the one that I'm going to use the most. And then I'm also really a big fan of this like warmish white color. I think that's going to be really good. And I think that for most of my Sims, this is probably a more accurate hair color for them to kind of gray to, just because I feel like this is more of like what you would get. So I really like this color. I don't know, I like this brown actually. I do like this brown. I feel like it's good for people that have like lighter brown hair. And then I think this brown is also good. It's pretty common for me to not want to use this brown because it's so red. So I think this one's pretty good. And then I don't know, the blondes, I don't know. I guess it's good to have like a blonde that's not cheese colored. So I guess that's good. But I don't know, what do you guys think? What are your favorite hairs? What are your favorite swatches in there? That I have noticed there is actually a glitch with this particular hair. And you can actually even see it here on this picture. Her teeth are black in this preview. And if I scroll out and let her show us her teeth, they're black. I don't know if you guys can kind of see, but her teeth are definitely black. But not only are they black, actually, this hair is glitched, so on any of the new swatches, so this will help us make sure we know what all the new swatches are, the teeth are actually discolored. So this is the new brown, along with this kind of dusty brown. Then for blondes, we have this one, and then lastly, this one. So that's definitely something that I think the team needs to address. I've been seeing quite a few like people commenting on it on Twitter and things, so I'm hoping to see a patch for this. But this particular hair from Seasons is glitched. It is gonna mess up their teeth as you change the colors. I did also want to include some males, because honestly, males are the people that I'm most likely to use in-game content on, just because I don't really have nearly as much CC for males. As you can see here, he's kind of rocking this style. This is the kind of the original darker color. Also, I have his facial hair to match, so you can kind of see that changing over as well. So just kind of going through all of the colors, just so we can kind of see, get a little bit of a vibe. There are no new reds, and I do think that would have been nice, just because I feel like that's an area that we kind of or slacking it. I do really like this like warm gray, very, especially for like a silver fox. I think that'll be really nice. So just kind of going through all of those, and then a couple other hairs just so you guys can kind of see. I did want to include this particular hair because there's been a lot of comments about how this hair looks very similar to a hair that will be coming with the new game pack, and I'm curious to see just how different they are. It doesn't look like it has as strong of a bald spot, mostly just the receding hairline, but I do feel like this hair is very similar to a hair that we're going to be getting shortly. Also, for the males, I did want to highlight that there is a glitched hair for them as well. You can see in this preview, similar to with the female hair, that the teeth look dark. So if I kind of step back and let him show his teeth, you can see, so there you go. So you can see that you kind of basically just get like color bars through the teeth for this. I haven't checked this one in the different colors to see if it's messed up. Yeah, so across the board, this one's messed up with all the different colors. So keep in mind that these two particular hairs are glitched, and so if you want to use those, you just kind of have to be aware. I would probably say not to use them until kind of a patch is released for this, but I do think it's definitely important to make sure that we're generating requests and stuff and making sure we let them know that these hairs are glitched. And then we also just have Little Miss Melody here, so just to kind of see some hair on a child as well. So this is again that new black. On this particular hair, it's really obvious, like this hair is very, very blue. So I do think like on this hair, it's a pretty significant improvement to see. Kind of going through the browns and then the blondes as well. And it does look like the kids have all of the new hair colors, even though they don't have the unnatural hair colors. So I think that's really good because it's just, you never know with kids. Like I feel like you don't always get everything that you would be able to get with an adult. So I like to see them adding that in for kids. So the next thing that we'll look at is of course the biggest thing I think for this patch, and that's going to be the likes and dislike system. So it does come right here, and there are 3 categories. So you can pick color, music genre, and activity, and each sim gets 20 possible likes and dislikes. You can randomly assign them if you want. So let's see, we randomize these for Wanda, and then now we come in and look at her likes and dislikes. So she has a favorite color, it's brown, so she likes brown. She doesn't dislike any colors. She dislikes DJ booth music, and then she likes singing. So when you randomize, it looks like it only starts them off with a few, but I think that's pretty cool. She just gets 1 per category. So for Hudson, we will choose some. So for him, we're gonna say he likes black and gray, and then we're gonna say that he dislikes yellow. No real reason, just because. So that's 3 of his 20 options. For music genre, I think we'll say he likes blues music, classical music, easy listening, hip hop. Let's have him like DJ booth music since she dislikes it. And then for activities, so we've got a fair amount of activities. We've got like acting, baking, bowling, comedy. So it looks like it's a pretty good inner pack mix, which I think is really good. So we'll let him like programming, dancing. We're gonna say he dislikes cooking because I think that's really realistic. I like cooking, but everyone definitely doesn't. So hopefully we'll see that if this gives like a pretty significant effect to his personality. And then let's say he dislikes kids radio. And then I wanted to have a child here just so we could kind of see. She has the same 3 categories, and she actually has the same amount of options, so she still has the 20 likes and dislikes. I just wanted to see if there was anything any different, but it actually looks like it's pretty similar for her. Let's have her like kids radio just so we can see. And then kids do definitely have less things for hobbies and skills, but they also can do less hobbies and skills. So it looks like they're more or less limited to things that they're maybe have the possibility of actually being able to do. We'll let her like singing as well as comedy. So I want to hop into the game a little bit just so we can kind of test some of this stuff out. Okay, so the likes and dislikes can be found in this Simology panel, which is getting to be a little bit packed at this point, but here it is. Here's the likes and dislikes preferences, so you can see she dislikes DJ booth music, she likes singing, and she likes the color brown. And then you can enter into Create a Sim to add in additional likes and dislikes. They should also autonomously generate likes and dislikes, so we'll see or playing around if we get any likes or dislikes. But he, if I remember correctly, dislikes cooking, so I want to see what happens if we have him come in and serve up some breakfast. We'll see kind of what the effect of that is, if he gets upset or how he feels doing something that he dislikes. I'm expecting there to be a moodlet, but I don't know. This is brand new. I haven't played with this at all yet. Okay, so he is tense. I hate cooking. Hudson can't stand this. When will this torment end? Sims who are doing something that they dislike are susceptible to fun reduction. So I think that's pretty cool. I like that the likes and dislikes are going to kind of affect gameplay. I think the idea of being able to have Sims that like things and dislike things and it affects their behavior is really good. From my understanding, Sims that dislike cooking will not autonomously cook. That's not something that they're going to do just because they don't like it. They don't like doing this. It's not something that they want to do. So let's see. What does she like? Let's see if we can have someone try out something they like. Okay, so she likes singing. So let's have her practice singing and see if that gives her a positive moodlet. Okay, so there we go. I love singing. Wanda is in their element. Sims who are doing something they prefer gain increased fun. So I think that's awesome. So that means that you can get more fun. I think that that'll be really good, especially for like painting, because that is something you can have Sims like. And I always haven't been the biggest fan of the fact that like painting's not fun. So I think, okay, he set himself on fire. Okay, so maybe don't have your Sim that hates cooking cook with the stove. I think that was my fault. I think that this had a negative impact on him and he really didn't enjoy it. Okay. Is he out or no? Okay. All right, so yeah, I think what we learned here is not to have your Sim that dislikes cooking cook. But I think that's awesome. I really do hope that as a Sim who dislikes cooking, he will have kind of an increased likelihood of having negative outcomes when he's cooking because it's something he doesn't like to do, and so he has problems with it. But I think that's also really awesome. Let's see, and then we should have Little Miss do something. Actually, you know what? He's in a bad mood. Everyone's actually in a bad mood, so I'm going to see. And I don't know how easy it is to get dislikes, because I do know that they'll randomly generate while you're playing. And so I'm wondering if them being in a negative mood makes them more likely to generate a negative or a dislike. So we'll let everyone, because they're all kind of in a bad mood, watch Civic Public Access and see if anything happens with that. Okay, so I had Hudson start singing and while he's in a really bad mood, and I got this pop-up. So here's the pop-up for generating a like or a dislike. Hudson does not seem to be having a good time. Should he gain the dislike singing preference? So we're gonna say yes, he dislikes singing. And now he's gonna have a negative moodlet, or he just stopped. He stopped singing because he doesn't want to do it. And if he did it again, he would have a negative moodlet now. Now, I will say that it was very quick. Like, essentially right after I had him start singing while he was in a bad mood, it gave me the option to generate a like or a dislike. I know that that's not gonna be everyone's favorite. I know there's some people that were wanting this to take a little bit more time as opposed to it just happening very quickly. And so that's kind of something to keep in mind. If you have a large household, it could potentially get overwhelming to have the Sims generating likes and dislikes so much. You can autonomously just randomize and fill up their likes and dislikes. I'm gonna check to see if there's any options to I don't see anywhere where there's any option to turn off like pop-ups for likes or dislikes, so it looks like you won't be able to control that, because like there's there's the option for turning on and off lifestyles, but I don't see that for the likes and dislikes. So I do think that potentially, depending on how you play the game, it does have the potential to be a little bit disruptive. So I'll be looking forward to kind of playing with this in some of my larger saves, like my 100 baby save, and kind of seeing if I think that it gets overwhelming having so many Sims generate these likes and dislikes. But basically, that is the overview of this patch. I think that the likes and dislikes are going to be a lot of fun. I hope to see the team really working to implement more with these and kind of seeing continued cross-pack compatibility, because I do feel like it's really common for the team to start something and then just kind of stop updating it. But here we can see that he does have these new dislike of singing, so just kind of showing that back off in Kaz. You guys will have to let me know, have you updated your game yet, and what do you think so far? Do you think the lifestyles or the likes and dislikes are going to be overwhelming, and what new categories are you hoping to see? I would really like to see food, and then I know that like furniture and decor is going to be a part of the new pack. So let me know what you guys think. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please make sure to like and subscribe down below, and I will see you all next time. Bye.